Welcome back to MASpets. Today in this video, we're going to be taking a look at some extremely rare exotic pets. At least they are difficult, if not impossible, to find today in most countries like the United States, Canada, the UK, etc. Most of the animals on this list are definitely not going to be anyone's idea of a suitable pet. They are larger, some may be potentially dangerous, and or have questionable temperaments as a standard indoor pet. They'd be considered to be something more like a zoo exhibit animal. Regardless, I'm aware of at least one person who has owned these animals privately. So let's jump right in. Okay, so first up is the ocelot, a small wild cat celebrated for its beautiful rosette-patterned coat and soulful eyes. Native to the rainforests, swamps, and savannas of Central and South America, ocelots are solitary hunters, known for their stealth and reclusiveness. Although they are elusive, they can be found in dense tropical forests, scrublands, and wetlands. Although they have decreasing populations in the wild, they are at risk of becoming extirpated in their extremely limited range in the United States. You might be surprised to learn that ocelots, now even not so common to see in zoos, were once a relatively popular exotic pet, akin to servals and caracals today. That's why even celebrities and popular figures like Salvador Dali owned them. They were often kept similarly to standard dogs and cats, being walked on leashes and given run of the house. Of course, I can't say for sure if these pet ownership situations turned out successful in the long term, but it does sound like ocelots did make at least reasonable pets for more tolerant pet owners. When hand-raised, these likely wild-sourced cats were relatively docile. Research also indicates that ocelots are friendlier with humans more often than other small cat species. They are smaller cats that pose no significant threat to people. However, their populations in captivity took a turn sometime in the last 40 years, and they went from common to scarce to pretty much impossible to find today. This might have been due to their listing on Appendix 1 of the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora in 1982, which prohibits their commercial trade. They have since been listed as least concern, but by then, the damage was done. People were likely not breeding these ocelots successfully, relying solely on imports, and they disappeared in the private sector. It's possible there are still some very elderly animals left that are being kept as pets, as they are animals that thrive in captivity and can live past 25 years versus 12 years in the wild. I've noticed that a lot of ocelots in accredited zoos are also older, so I don't know why the breeding of this species seems to be a low priority in that sector. There were apparently about 16 ocelots in AZA-accredited zoos in 2006. Ocelots are a breathtaking blend of beauty and exotic allure, but they demand a higher level of commitment and a suitable environment that respects their natural behavior. It's unlikely, however, that they will make a return to the private sector, despite their past popularity. Next, we venture to Madagascar to meet a unique carnivorous mammal that most people have trouble classifying. Meet the fossa. Resembling a cross between a cat and a mongoose, fossas are the largest carnivorous mammal on the island. Perhaps only made more recognizable by the animated series Madagascar, these animals belong to the family Eupleridae, along with other unique carnivores most people have never heard of. They famously feed on lemurs, but also opportunistically will take any smaller animal they can overpower. They are solitary and arboreal, slinking through trees in search of prey. Of course, to successfully keep an animal like this, they would need a very large, sturdy, enriched enclosure such as what you'd see in zoos, that are preferably outdoors. While some smaller African mammals can thrive in more typical pet enclosures, like spotted genets, I've yet to see anyone keep a fossa in this manner. They are apparently active and destructive, as you might guess, but I've rarely seen anyone owning a fossa or offering them for sale. So why are they so rarely owned privately? I'm guessing they are not often available to import, given their limited populations, once-a-year breeding cycle, and smaller litter sizes of usually 2 to 4 pups. Most importantly, breeding them in captivity is unfortunately difficult, and they don't sexually mature until 3 or 4 years of age. Given these factors, it's easy to see why they are scarce, and it's probably for the best that only professional breeders work with them. While I have little information on how fossas tend to be in captivity, I'm guessing they would never make a reasonable traditional pet given their strength and activity level. Their enclosure would need to be robust and skillfully customized. They'd be amazing to watch, but it's questionable if they could have a close relationship with their owner. Someone would have to socialize one to find out, which I don't think has been accomplished yet. While fossas capture the imagination with their wild, agile prowess, their demanding care requirements mean they're a pet only for the most experienced owners, who will commit to their breeding. The next animal on our list is a hyena, but it's not the most recognizable spotted hyena or the striped species. It's a highly unusual smaller hyena called the aardwolf. Despite its ferocious-sounding name, the aardwolf is a gentle, insectivorous mammal native to Africa's savannas and grasslands. Unlike its fierce spotted relative, the aardwolf specializes in a diet of mostly termites, as well as occasionally other smaller animals, and it has some specialized adaptations in its mouth for this diet. Therefore, unlike its spotted relative that can easily take down an adult human, this smaller arthropod specialist poses no threat to humans and is even known to have an affable temperament when raised by people. They are an obvious choice as the best possible pet hyena someone can own. However, they are as of current not popular in the private sector and the hardest hyena species to find. This may change, however. There are a few breeders working with this unique species. Sadly, many zoos have not been successful in breeding aardwolves, and the breeding centers in Africa that have them are difficult to gain approval from to import them. In some cases, private owners and private zoos have had more success than high-ranking, accredited zoos in producing finicky species because these places are often less stressful due to less visitors to the area. Only time will tell if this will apply to aardwolves and if private owners can help bulk up their captive populations. Their rarity is a shame, given that in what little footage of them interacting with humans exists, they appear calm and comfortable around humans. Up next is the snow leopard, one of the most enigmatic big cats in the world. Native to rugged mountainous regions of Asia, these solitary, stealthy hunters are renowned for their incredible camouflage and beauty, which is as intense as their amazing hunting ability. Okay, look, I know what you're thinking. A snow leopard? That's a large, dangerous cat, something like a tiger, right? Well, believe it or not, despite their capabilities, snow leopards are said to be one of, if not the most mellow big cats with a very amicable temperament. Now, I've never kept a snow leopard, don't get me wrong, but this information comes from a few researchers and keepers who've worked with them, one even describing them as similar to a house cat and, quote, peace-loving. There are many anecdotal accounts of snow leopards either being nervous around humans or even friendly with them, showing no aggression, despite their immense size and obvious ability to be lethal. You might wonder why, if snow leopards are so great, why do you never see anyone working hands-on with them, unlike lions and tigers? Well, of course, these mysterious cats are quite rare and extremely expensive, probably now even more so than in the past. In fact, I'd say they are pretty much impossible to acquire now, unless you are a well-regarded zoological facility. That wasn't the case in the past. There was at least one owner I know of who bought snow leopards as pets, none other than the notorious Carol Baskin. She actually received her first snow leopard as a birthday gift, and of course, didn't state this little tidbit when the snow leopards were displayed to the public as rescues from the pet trade in her now-defunct zoo Big Cat Rescue. Like the ocelot, snow leopards were previously listed as endangered, but their populations went under reassessment in 2008. In 2017, their status was downgraded to vulnerable, a decision that was met with opposition from wildlife activists. Sadly, one 2020 paper suggests that the United States population of snow leopards has been in decline since 1993 due to poor breeding success. It's likely that due to difficulty with breeding, private zoo owners and breeders focused more on the much easier to breed and train tiger, and neglected to commit to working with these much more well-mannered, rare animals. This is the case despite tigers still being considered as endangered, while snow leopards currently are not. As of now, snow leopards and other cats considered big cats are not legal to own without a license due to the Big Cat Public Safety Act. Snow leopards are breathtaking symbols of challenging wild environments, and even seeing one up close can be unforgettable. Therefore, the neglect of focusing on snow leopards' captive population seems like a missed opportunity. And finally, last but not least, meet the dik-dik, one of the more practical pet options on this list. The dik-dik is a tiny antelope native to eastern Africa that might just be one of the most unusual ungulates you've never heard of. These little guys form monogamous pairs, and some of them even have a tiny trunk. Their comical name supposedly comes from the sound they make when they become alarmed. How neat would it be to own what is essentially a dwarf antelope? But what kind of pet would one make? Looking at the dik-dik's behavior, I'm inclined to say they wouldn't make the best traditional pets. Most antelope species are kept in groups in outdoor paddocks and are not hands-on interactive pets. They appear flighty and nervous, and animals like that need a lot of space and special handling techniques so they don't harm themselves when they get spooked. However, years ago I saw an animal seller who was keeping one as a pet, and this individual appeared significantly more calm than the wild and zoo-living animals I've seen in videos. It is possible that with hand-rearing and close socialization, this animal can have an unusually mellow disposition, despite its species inclinations. Of course, it would still be an antelope, not a mellow domestic dog, so a level of skittishness should be expected, which is the case with almost all exotic pets. However, despite other antelope and deer being commonplace in the private sector, dik-dik are extremely rare, at least in the United States. Why? Well, I have no idea why. I used to see the occasional ad where someone was selling this amazing species. In fact, I remember when I saw the last one for several $1,000s, only for them to essentially disappear. They are not a protected species, and are quite common in their natural range. They are also prolific breeders in captivity, therefore I must conclude that people just aren't interested in maintaining these animals in the private sector, and therefore they aren't available like muntjac deer are for some reason. Maybe they didn't make good household pets and are too tiny for hoofstock keepers to be interested. This could all perhaps change someday, should someone take up the project. Which one of these rare animals would you own as a pet if you could? Do you think they would make a good pet? Let us know in the comments. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.